vertical, right?
Yep.
You can do that. That's presentation. Oh, you can do that. There you go.
Hey, folks, we're live now. I've got Steve and Jesse. Steve is the co-founder of Doc Swinson, and Jesse is the master blender. So I've been told by Steve that Jesse takes like a chef's approach to making whiskey, and that's how he makes his whiskey. So these guys started Doc Swinson, and it's been a wild ride. We've gotten a few samples of them. A lot of people watching. Somebody named Steve is also in the chat. Steve Schwar and Jesse, we've got both of them also in the chat. And Justin, Guy, welcome everybody. I've also got her Poland, the special guest today. So pretty exciting night. So if you're home and you got the samples, this probably came with it and all the tasting cards. For the ones that did not get the tasting cards, it'll be a mystery for you. So, you'll just go through it and then make your own tasting notes. But yeah, I'll hand it off to Steve and Jesse. You guys want to tell us a little bit about the brand itself and how you guys got started in this?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the intro. We are excited to be here. I think Arnav said it the best. It's been a wild ride, to say the least. We've been at this thing, I think as a business, we opened up in 2016 is when we got all of our licensing. So I'm sure a lot of you have been drinking whiskey since at least that long and have seen the fun changes that have been going on over the last 10 years. But yeah, we're excited to be here and super stoked working with Arnav. Thank you for putting all this together, you and your team, and just, reaching out and getting some great whiskey to some great people. Like you said, there's a Steve in the chat. I already like this guy. Sounds like an awesome guy. He's active in there and he loves mysteries. So this is my kind of Steve. I like this. But yeah, just to back up a little bit, 10 years ago, we started in this industry. And I think the first product that we put out, we're a blending house. So our chef's approach, which Jesse will get into later, really shines through in our selection of those ingredients. But those first barrels that we put out, I think it was a 10-year MGP product. Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, but 10-year MGP product that sat on the shelf for $54.99 a bottle. I always like to start there is for two reasons. Number one, that product today would be significantly more, but it also follows our philosophy of wanting to put great whiskey in a bottle, but at a price point that we can afford to drink it, not just put it on the shelf and look at it. But we want a product that is the highest of quality for a great price that, again, we want to open up and drink as well. So, it's been a long ride. I wish I could say it was a long fairy tale ride, but like all things, it ebbs and flows. So
I don't know of many distilleries that are based in Washington. So are you guys from Washington? Did you guys grow up in Washington? How did the Washington place get decided?
Yeah, so I guess we started doing stuff for other people up here in Washington State. So does anyone know where Bellingham is or Ferndale, Washington? Let's see in the chat.
I do not. I just know Seattle.
We're Canada.
Think Canada and about that far south of it.
Yeah, you can literally throw a rock into Canada, where we're based. We're right on the coast, so right by like the San Juan Islands. Some people know that, and the Canadian inland islands.
So yeah, we starting up here. It was really interesting because we didn't get into it for whiskey in the beginning. We started it to do private label products for other retailers, which allowed us to kind of open up our sphere of understanding of this industry as a whole. And we fell into the, what did we get? 10 barrels in was our first start with barrels. And it was kind of a side project for us to get those out. And I think the first 2 barrels was just a blend of those 2, Jesse. Am I correct? Or 2 of those 10 or 12?
Yeah. I mean, but absolutely. It was a small group of barrels. I mean, to Steve's point, just to back up on your initial question, where are we actually from? I'm from the islands out here. Steve's from Chicago and somehow made it over here to his destiny, the sea. And really, we started here because most of the company is actually from here. We all live in Washington, and it's one of the most unique places as far as biodiversity goes, and we have a rich culture in flavor profiles as well as obviously beer. We're one of the only places in the whole country that is almost identical to Scotland, so it's a natural complement to be maturing whiskey, if you think about it.
Very cool. And how did the name Doc Swinson? I always thought, like, what does Doc Swinson's mean?
Yeah. So when we first started, again, it was a side project. So it was kind of, we came up with everything in-house. The three of us that started this thing. Again, three of us started this thing from the ground up. And we started releasing this whiskey, and we realized we had something when people really appreciated what we were putting in the bottle. And so coming up with the name was kind of our little, is kind of a little Easter egg to where we're located in the Seattle area, again, 2 hours north of it. But it's Doc Swinson is the middle name, Swinson, of one of the founders of Seattle. He was kind of a pioneer that helped name the city. And Jesse, what all did he do? He was a pioneer. He was a dentist. He was a lawyer. He did a lot for the city. He's one of the founders of it. So it's just kind of a little Easter egg for us.
Very cool. Why don't we get right into the tasting of the whiskey?
Yeah, Arnav, we've got quite the lineup here. When Steve sent this out to me, we've got 6 different whiskeys here. We have 2 different bourbons and 4 different ryes. Although there's some of them are kind of even hard to say they're even rye. For example, in our own tasting room, on our tasting cards, we don't even write down whether they're bourbons or ryes. And the main reason why is because I love rye. I'm a big rye fan. I like high rye bourbons a lot. I think they pack a lot of flavor. You could do a lot with them. They're complementary to finishing casks, for example. They pair well with fruit. Think cooking, right? Once again, as Arnav said before, I take that chef's approach. What Steve likes to talk about a lot around my blending capabilities is I try and find parts that I want to work with, right? What are the ingredients that I think are going to complement each other? And I blend those together. So I think the first one we could start up here with, it's probably that. Let's dive right into a nice, actually, these are almost all cask strengths. What an incredible lineup here. Yeah. I think we could dive into the Muscatel. That'd be a good one to start. And then I could regale in some storytelling here.
The one I'm the most excited about is Funky Drummer. Somebody said it in the chat too, that Funky Drummer does something for every time I get a sniff. So my boys, when they were packing the samples, they were like, oh, this Funky Drummer smells the best here. Like, they pack a lot of samples. And last week we did the Frey Ranch tasting too. So they got to sniff a lot of samples while pouring it. And they were like, oh, this Funky Drummer, you should all taste it. We should taste it after. So we tasted it. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I haven't tried it yet, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't think I've tried half of these. I've tried all the bourbons. The rye, I think the only rye I've tried is the Golden Hour.
Nice. Yeah, Funky Drummer is quite expressive. That was the point behind it. To give you guys a little more background as well, Steve was kind of going on to. We didn't start this company to make Doc Swinson's. This was a passion project of Steve, my CFO, Chris, and I. And the goal was to not do like grain to glass, right? It was focus on doing what we think we're best at, which is blending. My background was in mostly brandy distillation and then into maturation sciences. And so working with barrels is where the majority of these flavor profiles come from in American whiskey. They spend the majority of their time in there. And so focusing on the individual aspects of each cask and then blending them together to produce something that's complementary to each other and or the next cask they're going into is the goal. So it's not all the same whiskey put into this to finishing cask and then pulled out after the same amount of time. Not even close. This is all entirely done by perception and taste, right? So this Muscatel is pretty special. It's one of my favorite whiskeys I've ever made. People always ask me that, so I'm just telling people now. It's a nice 105.3 proof on this particular batch. And it was funny because these are mostly 6-year-old MGP is the base. So 5 and 6-year-old MGP, and then it's both their high rye mash bill bourbons, so 36%, and their 21% for those of you who are familiar with those. And then aged in the ex Muscatel de Setúbal cask. This is a fortified wine similar to port, but from closer to Lisbon, so more southern Spain on the coast. So it brings more of these like vibrant citrus profiles to it. Think like orange marmalade. There's some really nice chocolate notes as well, and that's mostly because of the cask. These are French oak, previously used for Bordeaux, and then moved into Portugal to age the Muscatel for almost 10 years, and then brought to us. Oh my gosh, when we got these barrels, speaking of like when you open up Funky Drummer, we're splitting them up into batches. When we got these barrels, the whole building smelled like those orange peels dipped in dark chocolate. Some of you might be familiar with those in the holidays. It's like, this is so magical.
This is so viscous. Look at the legs on that. I don't know if you can see. Very viscous. And on the nose, I'm getting a lot of cheesecake. There's some leather in there and coffee.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's like a cigar blended with some cheesecake, like a VDN barrel. You know what I mean? A VDN barrel finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through and through sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the wine.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, like I said, the nice thing about getting a lot of these casks when we bring them from very specific producers, we get a mixture of usually wet and dry casks. In this particular situation, these were all wet. We ended up with about 2 to 4 liters per cask extra, which we do remove from those barrels. We don't leave any excess other than what's actually soaked into the wood itself. Otherwise, it shocks the whiskey a little too much, and it doesn't give you the same textural elements or complexity if you just be like dumping the Muscatel right in the glass. We don't want to.
I realize that with some distilleries, they have this maple finish or like Amburana finish, and all I taste is maple. At that point, I would just get a flavored whiskey.
Yeah. Well, Amburan's are fickle in that way for sure. That's it's kind of funny. That's we get all the time. When you get to make a maple whiskey or like a honey bourbon, and I've always not done it specifically because I think a big thing about Doc Swinson's is really, for as experimental as we are, we still pick really specific lanes. Everything we've ever released is a straight rye or a straight bourbon, although I'm dabbling in the mixture of the two these days for fun. But everything goes into full-size casks that were previously used for what that finished cask was. We don't do seasoning or anything on those casks. So it's not bourbon barrels that we put, anything in and then added the whiskey. These were actually typically large format casks that came from, if it's a sherry finish, it came from a sherry producer, commonly used for upwards of 30 or 40 years. That's really important to us. So we don't use staves or chips. Not saying there's anything bad with it. It's just what I wanted for Doc Swinson's, was to really focus on some of these more traditional aging methodologies that you find in our industry. So,
wow,
I think
beautiful.
Using those full barrels, that larger surface area, just going back to our climate being much more mild, more Scottish-like, I think applies a much more delicate finish. And with Jesse's attention to where these barrels are at any time, really let them kind of pick and choose when the right time to pull it is.
Very cool. What's the next one you guys want to taste now?
Ooh, is that a question for me or the crowd?
Either one.
Ooh, okay. I would say the Pinot de Charon.
Pinot de Charon.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, just because this particular batch is a little higher proof point than the Muscatel. I believe we're working on the same batch here. I've done this a couple times, but it should be the 110.8 proof.
That's good.
Oh my God, this smells completely different from the Muscatel.
So these are all fortified wines that I more or less grew up with. My grandparents used to put on my ice cream, and so that's where some of the story comes from. And my love for these particular type of finishes. It's a really neat crossover into stuff that we don't really see in the United States very much, unless you have a really interesting connection with, Portugal, Spain, or France, for example. Then once again, this is technically a fortified wine. Oftentimes it's never fermented, though. It's made by cognac producers, where they take the fresh pressed grapes that are going to eventually, or theoretically, should be fermented and then turned into cognac. But then instead of fermenting it, they put the cognac right into, or the eau de vie right into the juice, and then age it. So it's a really beautiful, generally very clean and crisp profile, and it's got like these honeysuckle kind of flavors to it, a little bit of citrus as well. But I really like highlighting these rare profiles that you just don't find here, because I think they're pretty magical.
You're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Still learning, This one's almost even more viscous than the last.
Honey.
Yep.
Little less oak impact. These are older casks.
There's sort of a bitter complexity at the finish, which like reminds me of an Amaro.
But it coats it well. Like it's like,
Yeah, you get a little like a kind of an herbaceous profile on the back
Yep,
end.
exactly.
Yeah.
Herbaceous. Yeah, I think my favorite part of this is the nose, like Gene said.
Yeah. When we open these casks in the warehouse, if there's any kind of like draft or breeze going through the warehouse, my gosh, the whole area just smells phenomenal. It smells like
Have you guys ever had a Pinot de Chiron on its own?
I have not.
no.
Yeah, I had never even heard of it before. I think even seeing the barrels in the back there that Jesse brought in. And he was working with this group that sent him a bottle of their stuff that came out of the barrels. And it was the first time I ever got to try a Pinot de Chiron. I was blown away. And I'm okay drinking some port and some sherry, but I'm like, man, if those are the two big things here, we really need to up our game here in America and try some more Pinot de Chiron, because this stuff's fantastic.
I think it's, of all the bottles in my office, it's the one that Steve tries to rob me of constantly. He even did it before this meeting again, because it's like up in the corner over here, and he'll walk around, and I do it to him too for certain bottles that we collect around. And yeah, this is the one that I can't keep him away from.
It's too good.
Yeah, and then some of these, for example, some of these casks were aged for upwards of 27 years with the Pinot de Chiron.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so which is not super common. Usually it's like 18 months minimum, like legally, but usually it's up in that 3 to 5 year range. Then you could of course dive into some rare offerings, and this happens to be one of them. So you start getting a little bit of that rancio characteristic, which is that kind of like funky, like earthy or nutty profile.
Yep. So what is a Pinot de Chiron? Like what exactly is a Pinot de Chiron? Is it like an Aperol or?
No, so it is very similar to like Pommeau or sherry or port, for example. The difference typically in like a sherry, right, is you ferment the juice, right, and then you fortify it to maintain a certain amount of residual sugar, depending on how you want it.
Somebody said the guy standing next to Arnold doesn't speak.
I get to drink. I get to enjoy the drink while Arnold does all the heavy lifting.
You get the fun end. So anyways, Pinot de Chiron is essentially a fortified wine. It just usually doesn't go through fermentation in most cases. So it has this, it's just basically like really good alcoholic grape juice.
It's like cognac.
That might be why I like it so much.
Yeah. Usually it's about 18% alcohol by volume, 18 to like 20%, somewhere in there. They're really nice. They're typically drank like a digestive.
And it has this tannicky finish, which goes forever.
Yeah.
Like I still feel the tannickiness of the grape skin.
Mm.
I get a little bit of that like musty grape, like cognac.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, but the finish is like Arnold said, it's tannic and it's like a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
And yeah. Cheer, oh, that's one good gig. Yeah. Drinking for a living is one good gig.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's aromatic. I haven't tried this one in a little while, so it's a good revisit.
Has anyone ever seen a Pinot de Chiron finished whiskey, or is this first time for everybody out there?
I have one right here. So this is
Oh, okay.
yeah, this is
Okay,
like
Lou.
a rye
Yeah.
finished in Pinot de Chiron.
Okay.
These guys are also a blending house. They blend a lot of funky stuff.
Yeah.
Where are
so-
they out of?
They're out of Bardstown, Kentucky. They're bottled at Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Where's that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I think that's what's really fun about what we're doing is seeing the climate impact that we do have, or that our area does.
Oh,
have.
Yeah, we tend to build more textural elements in the Northwest here, and that's just because we have less barrel impact, so more time that allows oxygen into the cask with less actual impact from the oak itself. And that's just because it's relatively cold here, so we don't have as much transition in and out of the wood, but we still get really long-term oxidation, which is really nice for the spirit. It builds those kind of like thick, viscous, fruity notes and textural qualities.
Somebody said, does the blurred whiteboard behind Steve have the secret recipe?
Yeah.
That's why it's blurred.
Yeah, that's why it's hidden.
We're not allowed to talk about that.
So,
Maybe-
how long do you guys typically do these finishes for in the barrels?
So that's a great question. It all just depends on what the barrels are producing flavor wise. So for example, let's say I get into 10 casks or something like that of a Pinot de Chiron, right? What I'll go through each one of those casks and figure out kind of what I'm working with. Hopefully maybe there's a little bit of liquid in there. If not, I'll just do it by aromatics. And then what I'll do is I'll blend a whiskey that I believe will best be complemented by the set of casks that I have. And then typically, in most cases, I would say, 4 months would be the minimum. But sometimes it's upwards of 4+ years for a finish. And then once again, I might not take all 10 casks and dump them. In fact, in most cases, that's really rare. What I'll do is I'll revisit these casks every few weeks, take my notes on them, and I'll start compiling blends with the different casks, what to build up, your beginning, your middle, and end, so to speak, right? And the flavor profiles. And then let's say we hit one that we want to bottle, a combination. So I'll only take what I need from that cask to produce a batch. They don't all get dumped into one vat and called a day, because in the end, and that works. You can hit, you can strike gold. You can strike gold once, maybe twice, but it's all about what combination of pieces to make a better whole. So it just depends.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He just gave me a cup with some mystery juice. I don't know which one it is. It was better than the both that I tried.
Well, I blended both of them together. It's like
Oh, you blended both of them.
nose. My God.
Now essentially you have a triple cask going on.
Yep.
The triple what's the
Alter ego. Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
that was
God.
Yeah.
great.
That's delicious. That's phenomenal. I love that one.
That's my favorite that we have, and it's kind of like, it's a cool thing to see of like where we started to where we are today, and that was one of the first ones that we really had, and it's kind of transitioned into these really unique expressions that Jesse's come up with since. So.
I mean, the label also looks very beautiful on the Alter Ego triple cask. It's
Well, mine is.
You should see the foolproof version.
That's my favorite label.
yeah.
Or the Supernova.
The Bossa. Someone mentioned the Bossa Nova in the chat here earlier.
Mark tasted us on it. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
I remember.
Have you guys have tried it before?
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah.
We have a really good friend who
Oh,
used
yeah,
to
they
bring
loved
all
it.
the Doc Swinsons for us to try.
Well, tell them thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might come back. Somebody was asking
I
on here.
want to put up Bossa Nova, I think, this fall again. We'll see what actually happens, but I'd like to put Bossa Nova out again. I did Samba last year, which is the rye version. So that's rye finished in rum casks and Ambarana. And then Bossa Nova is the bourbon version. I haven't made it in almost two years, something like that. So
Somebody asked which best whiskey you ever had and in which country/city.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever had a best. I think it just depends on the context and what I'm looking for. I'm going to give you that answer.
They're all so different, right?
They're also different. Depends on what's the situation. Are you hanging out with friends, or are you sitting by yourself? I think I would have to say one of my first introductions to whiskey when I was just a little kid. Not really. I was a little older than a little kid, but was actually, I'm trying to think. There might be a bottle. Yeah, I think there's a bottle of it right over here. What really got me kind of into this in general in brown spirits, I think, was red breast.
Red breast.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for them and what they're capable. They're incredibly talented distillers and warehousemen. And I don't know. I think it was the first glass I ever tasted that I was like, "Wow, I don't want to put this down. I want to learn this. I want to understand why, how." And I think that really, really struck a chord with me. And then, well, here you go. Almost 15 years later, I'm still doing it. So I would have to say that's a pretty magical whiskey. Now, over the last 15 years, I've tasted some phenomenal whiskeys. So
15 years? How old are you?
Just old enough to say that legally.
Because you look pretty young. You look like 26.
Watch me put my hat on backwards again, and I'll lose about 6 years or 8 years. No, I'm 34. 35 soon. Just been in the spirit side since the day I turned 21. In a commercial distillery.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. It's a fun industry. There's good people.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I probably am, but I think it's still one of the coolest industries because a lot of things still happen with handshakes. It's incredible.
What was that, Jesse?
I said a lot of things still happen with just a handshake. You've been looking for some really rare tasks, or it's like really, it's just a jovial industry. And I love that about it. I don't feel like you hear those kind of stories nearly as much as you used to from when like your grandparents were like living, stuff like that. So I think that's special.
Somebody said 34. Drop the skincare routine.
It's whiskey.
It's whiskey.
It's just drinking.
Topical whiskey and ingesting whiskey. That's the secret.
Definitely. Mostly pickled the inside. Probably looks younger than the outside at this rate.
All right, what's next?
I think of this
Somebody mentioned pairing top tier meals and pair it with a bottle of Docks. I think that's so, like, we have probably 30 different expressions that we've released over the time, and none of them are identical. They're all something unique. And I think really, like, when people lean into that, again, that chef's approach, if these are ingredients, here's how we put our spin on it, and being able to like pair it with just about anything. I mean, one of our favorite pairings from the beginning was our Solera rye, which is our rye finished in rum, and pairing it with kettle jalapeno chips was just like, there was something magical in that simplicity of it.
It was it was like one of the first time we were just hanging out in the back, and we had never paired food with it. We just put out the first batch of this, and we just happened to have a bag of kettle jalapeno chips. And
we have a bag of chips right here because we knew like you guys pair with chips.
We made a whole joke about chip pairings, but the jalapeno chips really work with our Solera method rye. It's just phenomenal tasting. But to that point too, Steve and I have done dozens and dozens of pairing dinners around the country with our whiskeys. It's become quite popular, especially with those high-end restaurants. Whiskeys pair just like wines do, just like beers do. They all pair with a lot of the same things because they're all relatable notes, right? They're all flavor notes that we're actually quite familiar with, just reorganized in a slightly different medium.
100%. What's the next one you want to move to?
I love the face wash idea, for the record, guys. Sorry, this is hilarious.
Face wash.
Jesse,
occasionally pull a pump tube off or something like that. A little whiskey goes up in the face,
And Jesse will be the ambassador. Guys, I'm 34, but I don't look like it.
I look like I'm 21.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. So whiskey number 3. I kind of wouldn't mind diving into the golden hour, to be honest with y'all.
I'm gonna go fill my glass with that one. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, if you want to, golden hour.
Oh yeah, you're showing the bottle itself.
Oh, I realized I could do that. So
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Lord Steve. Woohoo! It's kind of fun. So the naming convention of these things are quite entertaining. You know, we used to just like the Pinot, for example, just says Pinot. This is the older style label. I changed up labels fairly recently. I actually learned how to use Illustrator to make all these things back in the day because this was a passion project. And I wanted to go with fun names because every time I would work on these blends, something really unique would happen. For example, the first time I struck gold, it took like 164 unique tries to get to this particular blend. And it just happened to be in the evening and there was a gorgeous sunset. So I called it the golden hour. So anyways, I write interesting stories when I come about these names. And then our tasting room manager, she draws all the imagery on the bottles. So they all have a unique and different kind of image, which is kind of fun that relate to the actual product and how we discover the flavor profile.
This is probably the first whiskey I've tried today that smells very traditionally good. Like caramel, vanilla. It's not like all the other ones aren't traditional.
Mm-hmm.
This one's very traditional.
Yeah, this one, the first time we ever tasted it. So before I got to the 164th blend, it smelled like maple bars. It was wild, totally like maple bars, heavy vanilla profile, syrup, etc. And then as I kept blending it, I originally was just going to release it as a rye finished in rum casks and then tawny port casks. But it didn't have as much of the fruity quality that I was looking for. So I ended up blending in some of the same rye finished in rum casks that was also finished in ruby port casks at about 4% of the total blend. And that gave it this really nice, fresh, juicy fruit kind of profile to it. So like raspberries, for example, and a little bit of rose. And then everything on that end was fairly heavy or weighty. So I wanted to brighten it up a little bit. So it has the same base spirit, the rye finished rum cask that also is finished in white port cask. We blend that in at a 1% quantity. And it just made this really gorgeous bouquet that kind of just changes every time you dive into that glass. And I think whiskey can easily be a journey, right? It's blended well.
I
This
feel
is
like
also proof for the record. So we dropped down in proof a little bit here.
Yeah,
They're so
really well. Chocolate
it
lava.
tastes like a rye. It tastes like the podcast is just coming through. Like,
Yep. Yes, it's predominantly tawny port. The tawny port casks were used for about 40 years. They're 500 liter in size too, so they're quite large. About a little over 2.5 times the size of a standard bourbon barrel. I mean, the tawny port that came out of these things was like molasses. It was incredible. Yeah, this one pairs ridiculously well with food. It does really well with chocolate. And it was the first time I had really put an exploratory cask, which is just this is the area where we just have a lot of fun. Under 100 proof. So this was not a cask strength, which was pretty wild. That was a change for me. Usually everything came out as cask strengths on the exploratory, and this is a 98 proof. I wanted to make something that was a little more approachable for a broader market because I think these are gorgeous flavor profiles. I want more people to drink bourbon.
No, I as a person who is not a big fan of rye, I really like this rye. It has that sweetness.
Yep. And so remember at the beginning of this, I said the reason why we don't. So in our tasting room, we don't even put if it's a rye or a bourbon on our tasting cards. What we do is we showcase the name, so golden hour, and then we showcase like 4 key flavor characteristics. And we started doing that because we found out that people would specifically not choose the ryes because most of the time they don't like ryes. We just do something so unique and different with our ryes that they could bridge these gaps or completely bust through the typical walls of a rye. And so we got rid of the rye statement on our tasting cards, and people be like, "Oh, I love this bourbon." We'll be like, "Nah, it's a rye." And they'll be like, "What? This is amazing. This is wild. I love this. This is cool. I never thought." And that's I think part of the beauty behind Doc Swinson's. That's the open your curiosity towards something new. That's our tagline.
Yeah, when I first said this smells like, this is the first bourbon today that I tasted that smells and tastes like a traditional one. Almost forgot this is not a bourbon.
Well, you
Right?
forget that it's not bourbon.
Yeah.
You said it was, yeah. It's crazy.
If you like this, Arnav, you should really try our Bottle and Bond. I know it's not part of our lineup here today, but I think you'd get a kick out of it.
I think I have a bottle though. Somehow we got a bottle from New York. So the New York store had a bottle and we got it
Bottled
here.
and Bond Rye, yes.
Yes, it's sitting
Yeah.
right at my desk.
I've been taking little sips out of that.
That one, I think I'm extremely proud. I mean, I'm proud of all these, but I'm really proud of that one because it's the only one that has a single mash bill, and it's the most common mash bill of rye in the whole industry. 95.5, right? At least the American rye industry. And the whole point was that behind that was I wanted to take the most standard thing that I could find and make it taste so vividly different than what everybody's used to. And I think it's a neat expression, especially as something with as clear as guidelines as Bottle and Bond, you know? So
Yeah.
I really had to here's what I have to work with. How do I make it? How do I make that happen through this really finite set of resources? And it was to prove that I know how to blend some stuff.
Well,
The passion.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's there, and it's that just to back up Jesse's point. I mean, yeah, taking a single mash bill with the restraints of the bottled and bond classification of 100 proof, yada yada yada. But to be able to find that as a blending house and to be able to select those barrels and separate that flavor profile so much more from something that's used in, I mean, if you've had a rye, you've had that mash bill from that same facility more times than you realize.
No, but
That's what they were known for.
the Bottled and Bond is like just a classic rye, and it's just phenomenal. And then this one doesn't taste like a rye at all. It's like more like a bourbon, but especially with the port, you're getting that dried fruit coming through.
Yeah, there's so much honey that I get in the nose and then the finish.
You're probably getting the molasses from the rum.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. Every time I dive back into this one, I'm like, ooh, there's a new flavor I didn't even think about or have even
Good
talked
finish.
about yet.
Subconsciously, we didn't pour it out.
I have more if you want.
Oh yeah,
Not a bad problem to have.
right? This is really nice. This is going in the rye mystery boxes.
Honestly, we can put it in the bourbon mystery boxes, just cover up rye. And
Oh yeah, nobody will know.
Honestly, you know what? If you guys do that, please let me know. I think that would be insane. I love changing people's minds, right, and exposing them to something maybe they're not used to. I think that's what's so magical about Doc Swinson's. That was the whole point of building the brand. We didn't have a lot of constraints other than the ones we put on ourselves, and this is what came out. And we're always exploring and always developing something new. That's the whole point of calling this the exploratory cask series.
And Jesse was the only one that really came from the industry out of the three of us that started it, 5 of us that are here now. I was a ski bum that moved from the Midwest out here. Our other partner was, an accountant for a fish company. And, we got together, and Jesse's been able to build his spice cabinet, if you will, in back there of what he can and wants to build. The Solera rye, or the Solera, is a great example of that, of just Jesse being like, hey, I want to build this thing. And we're sitting here, he wants us to support him, and we do. And we're like, yeah, sure. Whatever that is. And they built this beautiful system that nobody else has in the country. And that's in bits and pieces of things that we're trying today.
It's an artist getting the creative freedom.
yeah.
Yeah, basically. With that being said, too, I mean, we mentioned we built this company to do other things. Like, there's a whole other side to what I do that's not this, and it has insane constraints behind it, and it's mostly because it's other people's constraints. And it's a really fun challenge, and it helps reorganize my mind to be like, okay, how do I make a product over here for this client or this client within this price range or within these particular specifications? And I think it keeps me thinking ahead in ways I can adapt and change. And I think it keeps me honest too, which is nice.
Jesse, let me ask you this: are you a bourbon guy or are you a rye guy? What do you prefer?
There's no discrimination there.
I knew you would say that. You'd be like, "Oh, depends on the mood."
I haven't found a spirit that I don't like. I like them both. I love them both. They're so unique in their own right. They have great history behind them. Like I said, I do tend to lean towards the rye profiles, and that's why our bourbon has high rye content to it. You know, don't get me wrong. I love a good wheated whiskey too, or wheated bourbon as well. But rye is phenomenal. Rye has so much to offer in the world.
I think with all the fun finishes that rye helps, or the higher rye bourbon mash bills, help remind people that they are still drinking whiskey, even when we start to go into these crazier finishes and things that might usually be overtaken by the finishing cask. It's whiskey first, really, in the glass. How do we highlight that whiskey, that backbone to the whole thing, and then add those depths and complexities to it through the finishing cask, that time, char, and mash bill? Just can't give either a rye or a bourbon.
What are we doing next?
Sorry, I got interested in the chat. You guys are great. You guys are all fun. I love this. Good commentary.
Who's ABYTP? Love this guy.
I love the guy too. I think this is ABYTP's first time.
Oh, I love it.
Welcome.
Okay.
I think he asked. I don't know if he asked. Was it me if I'm a sports person? Not a traditional sports person, if you were asking, but
more of a squash and NPR kind of guy.
If you guys ever start the face wash brand, you have to give ABYTP a royalty for the idea.
Oh, yeah, you'll get the first round. I have a feeling there won't be a second, but maybe. I don't know. They make that bourbon soap, right? That seems to sell out.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
nothing like getting pulled over because you showered.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Number four.
Number four. What does the master distiller have to say?
Summer retreat.
Summer retreat.
Summer retreat, golden
summer
hour.
retreat. So
this wants to go to the beach,
Right?
right. I mean, you can see, yeah, that's the whole point. It's like an escape from your reality. Go on a road trip in the sun, go to the beach. That's exactly the idea. The first time I ever tasted these particular casks, these are white port casks for the record. So this is a straight rye finished in white port casks. It's actually two different straight rye whiskeys, two different mash bills. 7-year-old on this particular age statement, 105.2 proof. White port really gives you these gorgeous like Vino Verdes, citrusy notes that really elevate and play off the spices from the rye itself. And the first time I ever tasted these casks, it was like a winter day here in Washington. And those of you who are familiar with this place, it's not very sunny for about 8 or 9 months out of the year. And it just happened to be like, I think it was like January, like 2nd or 3rd. And we have these big roll up doors. And this is where these casks were right in front of them. And it was gorgeous out. And I opened up the doors and like these casks got sunbathed. And I was like, oh, it's beautiful out. So I named it my summer retreat because it reminded me of that. And yeah, I'm going to pour myself a glass actually. Yeah, Mike. The legs on the side of this glass tonight. Yep. Yeah, there's some fumbles. Not too many people get a hold of white ports. The other thing is I like them in as a spritz in the summer, so it's nice.
It's a more traditional rye, I feel like.
Yeah, this doesn't have the rum cask influence that the other one has. Golden Hour has in it.
You know, the palate on this is like a rye, but then in the finish, you think you just had bourbon.
I just think I have had a port wine. It's just like,
yeah,
it's like heavy port, sweet.
Yeah, it's a bit zesty.
I always love rye and like sweet cask finishes because like I think they balance each other out really well. So you're not getting too sweet, not too spicy, but it's just like balancing itself out.
It's back to cooking, right? This is a spice cake. And this is dessert. Exactly. They're fun. Somebody's familiar with our slides. Our land. These chats are hilarious. You guys are great. They're really open chats I did on this round. This is quite funny.
That's what I do every Friday, 7:30 p.m.
7:30 to 8:30.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love it. You got to send us some more invites.
Oh yeah.
Can we just hop on anytime and chirp the next
Anytime.
time that you got?
It's like office hours. 7:30 p.m. Friday, office hours. Come join in. And they basically ask me like, open that one, open that one, open that one. And then I open it and then go through the tasting notes.
Oh, that's epic. That's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any tequila in that Cybertruck there, or is that just a Cybertruck?
We have the tequila. Where is it?
Where's the tequila? You never brought any
All
tequila.
over the back of everybody's
The Tesla tequila that AJ gave you.
I don't know where it is. It's in Stony Brook.
Okay, we gotta pick it up.
This is the tequila guy. He loves all the
Nice.
tequilas.
When you come to my store, you'll see I have a room that's just dedicated to all the open bottles of tequila I have.
No,
Okay.
nice.
And how do we like the Tesla tequila?
Oh yeah, Tesla tequila.
Is it good?
I have not tried it. I haven't opened it. I got it as a gift from AJ, and he gave me as a gift, and I never opened it.
Okay.
I hear it's okay tequila.
Yeah, I've heard it's very vanilla. The Reddits are actually quite funny. I don't usually ever go on Reddit, I'll be honest, but I was curious about that one, and it's most of them the corks popped open and went all over everybody's seats.
He's just giving a disclaimer. I don't go on Reddit, by the way.
I don't. It's not a thing. Not a thing.
All right.
Are you guys
Cool
ready?
little setup you guys got here. I like it.
All right, what's next? Tres Amigos or Funky Drummer?
Oh, funky drummer, probably. Not to speak for Jesse.
That's a tough one. I like ending with funky, but I don't disagree. Trace is a little too expressive, probably. So let's go right with Funky Drummer. So,
Funky drummer.
Funky Drummer it is.
so assuming we have the same batch, I think I don't know if you said it was this style label.
Funky drummer.
What's the proof on it?
Golden hour.
What's the proof on your funky?
Yeah.
Oh, the funky drummer proof is
99.3.
a Jamaican.
Oh, yeah, it's the same one then. That's the same one that I have.
Yeah.
Jamaican cask.
So Jamaican cask means Jamaican rum cask.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. So
So that Mike listen.
Oh
Right?
my god.
He's gonna love it.
So yeah, so back when we first started the company, we did like lots of rum blending, and we used to bring in rums from all over. Basically, I've always had an affinity for rum. I've loved it since I first tasted it. And Jamaican high ester rum casks, or Jamaican high ester rums, period. Some of you might be familiar with. They tend to have these really funky, sometimes almost like diesel-y profiles, or earthy profiles, but more often than not, they tend to be fruity, like overripe pineapple, passion fruit, coffee, and toffee, for example, are all really great profiles. And that comes from a very specific process, which you all should look into if you haven't. Just type in like high ester Jamaican rums and start going down the rabbit holes. It's incredible. And usually in high concentrations, they're unbearable to most everybody. But in low concentrations, and ones that you could find that are actually bottled, have these really beautiful, like I said, tropical fruit notes to it, and they're super expressive. So we happen to bring in these casks of rum. So the empty casks, we fill up with our rye whiskey, a rye whiskey blend that complements them. So it's 2 mash bills as well. This is a particularly 8-year-old one, up to 11-year-old. So there's an 8-year-old. There's a bunch of, most of it's 8-year-old. I believe it's about 75% 8-year-old, and the rest is 11-year. The 11-year aged in these casks for 4 years. So 4-year finish on them. And the 8-year was in there for about 1.5 years. Point being is these are really expressive characters. And I really like showcasing this fun profile. Let's make it ridiculously old fashioned or Manhattan.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Or a King Kong.
Or a King Kong. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Which basically is a King Kong. You just add sugar to it and you have King Kong.
So I did not have time to set up my setup, so I'm running around grabbing the samples. I have a daughter that had to run all over town before I came here, so I didn't want her trying to join us for the sampling. She's only 8.
Wow.
I'm getting the molasses.
Yeah, totally. This one, like chew on it for a while. I think it's a nice chewy rum. You can hang out with it. The warmer it gets, the more expressive or fruity it's gonna get. Yeah, I don't know. This has been. I think this has probably been one of my favorite batches. This is definitely my favorite batch of Funky Drummer. The previous ones were awesome, but they were more towards like an actual Jamaican rum. This one balances with the rye really beautifully, and I think it's been very popular. We've barely even put it in the market yet.
This is very interesting. We have a rum connoisseur in the comments, Mike Lipscomb. He loves all the rums, and he probably knows the most about rums that I've ever seen. But I think he would really like this one.
Yeah, Mike's saying it reminds me of drinking like Appleton. Yeah, it's an interesting balance with the rye profile, right?
I need this.
What's that?
He said, "I need this."
It's a fun one. The good news is I actually made quite a bit of it. Except I got really into this particular set of casks that I got, and I mean, 4 years in the making. You're tasting it now for most of it.
That's good. I like that one.
Yeah, this is, and in the last like year and a half or so, I've really focused on like finding some proof points that I think are a little more approachable to most people that still balance with the boldness of all the flavors that I'm looking for. This tubing down a river, yes.
Absolutely. We love rum and we love the water. Again, we're right by the sea. We can throw a rock and hit the water right now. So we're feeling that. We're feeling that pretty hard.
I'm always jealous of people who live in Washington or Oregon. I've never been there, but I always see videos of like, it's like a meme that of people from the Northeast coming to Washington and saying, "Oh, this is so beautiful." There's just a regular road.
It's just a regular what?
It's just a regular street that people say, "Oh, wow, this is so beautiful, so aesthetic."
It's pretty. There's maybe that kind of answers some of the reason why we didn't move to a more sensible place for shipping. We like it here. Not saying anywhere else is bad. It's just this is a really pretty place. It offers distinctive climates that are really conducive to what we do, and I for our style, and I think that's really important. Except for this particular county where we are is like the only place that's almost identical to Speyside, Scotland. And what do they do well in Scotland?
Whiskey.
Yeah, they do pretty well at that. So we figured, well, this seems like a natural complement. Let's focus on the maturation side. Let's focus on finishing without too much impact. It doesn't change temperature a whole lot here. It's got a nice humidity. It's not super humid in the summer. It's not super humid in the winter. It just has a nice humidity. So we end up with a lot of really nice textural elements once again in our whiskeys, and that's because of our environment.
Ooh.
You washed your hands with it?
Yeah, put a little bit of the Funky Drummer.
That's the ultimate test for me.
Definitely funky.
Yeah, I always put it on my hands, and then you smell it, and if it smells good, that means it's worthy of being picked.
Arthur, you are definitely a tequila person.
I am most definitely a tequila mezcal person.
Tequila people always tequila and distillers. Distillers, that's how we assess our profiles coming out of the still too. We put it in our hands and
smell it.
I was on the distillation side for a number of years as well before really diving into any kind of blending or maturation sciences and on the craft distillery side and mostly in the brandy world. And it's all about what aromatics and how are you going to facilitate them through the process to enhance that. So it's fun. It's neat to see people do that because not a lot of people do actually. It's a great way to understand the profiles you have. It's like, you know, when after you drink your glass, you leave it overnight, let it dry out, and then smell it in the morning.
Oh yeah.
You'll discover a whole different world.
I've left glasses out, and then you just see like a black, just a brown molasses left.
Yeah.
In toasted barrels.
And it smells like honey.
Oh yeah.
If it's a good bourbon, it smells like honey.
Yeah, it makes you want to get in there, right? I mean,
Yeah. Is the Tres Amigos finished in tequila?
it is. Yes.
Okay. I was just making sure because Mike, the rum connoisseur, is allergic to tequila, so he's allergic to agave. So that was his last pour.
We should have sent a bonus bottle for Mike.
Yeah.
What is Mike? Mike's a big rum guy. Is that what you're saying? I don't know.
Yep.
Mike is the rum guy.
Yeah.
The rum guy.
Hey, if you ever have any suggestions, let us know too. Like I said, I always like discovering more rums in the world. So,
Mike, what's your favorite rum out there, bud?
Oh wow, that's probably a question he's gonna go. Like, let me type my
This
favorite.
top 5. Maybe your top 5. Or maybe this. Maybe after a long rainy day, you need a bottle of rum to feel like you're not sitting in the rain. You need a bottle of rum to feel like you're on the beach. What is it? What are you drinking? Oh,
That was
Outer Banks Distilling.
yeah. Wow. Damn.
I have no idea.
Sounds like Jesse. We might need to reach out to somebody.
Outer Banks. Maybe that's the first non-whiskey we will carry.
North Carolina.
I've heard good things.
Mike's talked about it a bunch.
Yep.
Kill Devil rum.
Oh yeah, Kill Devil rum.
Yeah, the original name or whatnot. Yeah.
Mike, you know anyone over there? Maybe we can send some barrels back and forth.
Rum might be some of the most like widely diverse profiles in a single spirit category. That's something I love about it. It just gets wicked and wild, and every region and every distiller has such a different take on it.
I love funky rums. I just like stuff in general. Yeah. Rum tasting.
Yeah.
Mexican rum.
Oh, so cool.
Best.
Are we on to Tres Amigos? I already started.
I already started too.
I haven't stopped.
Yeah, so
I think this is my favorite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was a given.
You know
though.
what?
I'm
It's
a
not
tequila
my
guy.
favorite because I don't want Mike to feel bad.
sorry, Mike. We'll keep working on the rums together.
Oh, Chachaca. Cachaça. Yeah, that's the really funky stuff, right?
It's the Brazilian. It's
That's the other one.
No, what was the one with the shrimp? I think that was cachaça, the one with the shrimp on it.
Shrimp, yes.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah,
shrimp.
it is. Yeah, I actually have a bottle of it. It's awesome. It's wild.
That's crazy.
Super grassy. Yeah, it's like it's the Brazilian version of agricole, right? It's
Exactly.
You know, Steve said you should come down to Doc Swinson, do a barrel pick with us. And I said Washington is very far, so we should have a virtual tasting. But when I went to Jesse, I really want to meet him in person now.
No, you got to get up here, man. You got to get up here.
You gotta come spend like 2 days in the facility and at least a spare one out in the wild, man. This place is really incredible place to be.
We want to listen. You can go to Kentucky, and I think you were in Nevada, and that's fun. Don't get me wrong, but can you hop on a boat and go cruise the islands for a little while after you do whiskey tastings?
Oh yeah.
I think we're the only one around that can do that. So come on up, man. We'll show you guys a good time. And Jesse will nerd out with you for 3 or 4 days. That's easy.
Yeah.
Whiskey.
Yeah, so Tres Amigos, this is a 101 proof batch, and it's so it's the same Solera method. So there's several of my ryes are based on the Solera method, which is that rye whiskey finished in rum casks from 4 different places. And that's 9 to 12 years old currently. This particular batch was 7 to 11 years. And it's finished in añejo tequila casks. I wish I could tell you who, but I can't divulge that information.
Ask you.
No, people ask all the time. I'm like, if you're here, I might let it slide, but unfortunately, this is one of my big goals. To be honest with you, is connect all the dots and find suppliers that I could openly market their name. But this particular batch, I was not able to get that approval. So
You know, when somebody says that, I just say blink twice if I say the correct name, and then I just go through the name.
I have a twitchy eye, so we'll just have to have you out here and we can explain more. Anyways, yeah, this is a fun one. But that's kind of my dream, is to really like pull together all these different different producers, right? We all make really cool things, and I think showcasing that in really fun ways is a lot of the fun in this whole industry, and that's a big part of it. So same thing, if you all have connections, like, and you're willing to connect us with them, I'm always willing to explore, like bringing in casts and doing a collaborative blend or a collaborative finish. Like I think that stuff's wonderful. That's the story. That's part of what made me fall in love with this whole industry.
Yep.
Good whiskey, good people,
and a good time.
Good collaborations, good community.
Small community. Old, but still small. That's what I like. The longer you're in it, the more people you meet across different aspects of it all.
Yeah, I think for me, my favorite were Golden Hour and Tres Amigos.
Yeah, same. Golden Hour, Chase Amigos for me too.
Yeah,
when I first got tequila casts in, I was told not to do it by most of my peers. I was like, I will do it, I swear. I think it's because a lot of people do it. Don't get me wrong, I did a bourbon version as well. I just think the rye is more complimentary.
But this is a rye.
Yeah,
this is a rye. Yeah.
Wow.
You wouldn't
chose two ryes.
You know what? I don't usually like. There's some exceptions, but I feel like rye finished in a sweeter barrel goes better than a bourbon finished in a sweeter barrel because it complements the spice.
Yeah, because sweet on sweet is just sweet, but spice and sweet, that makes some of the best food in the
people
world.
do honey finished bourbon, and I'm like, that's just too sweet for me. And honey finished rye is like, wow.
Yeah, because honey finished ryes are expressive. They're super fun.
Exactly.
I will put one out one day. I found an apiary, a local apiary that puts their hives above tree line in Mount Baker, which is just outside our building, like an hour and a half east. We could look at it through the window. And I want to really, to tie in these really fun stories of producers is where I'm like, okay, we can take some honey and put it in the barrel, and I'll go that direction. But most of the time you could just buy them, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I wanted for Docs. I want the story, guys. Like, that's what's so amazing so working with these producers to create that story along that chain. So we know every piece of this is really the goal here. But yeah, so Ryan and honey is quite phenomenal. Like I said, it just has all the right flavors in the right places. They balance with each other. They complement each other.
I think that story is really a big part of why we use the full casks and why we're not focused so much on chips and staves. Why we go with the port casks that had port in them for 40 to 60 years. That history, that untold history that every barrel tells, that untold history that this industry has that we don't know. I mean, it goes back thousands of years, but just that story that's attached to all of this in those barrels and taking our time to get there.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I absolutely love the Tres Amigos though. It's
see, we're all chewing on this one.
It's so unique.
Yeah,
that white pepper. White
pepper.
Back.
You get the tequila, but it's not like overwhelming.
I'm getting that agave finish, and it's just like keep coming back to it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it really has these really nice like extra añejo tequila sipping qualities to it with a little extra kick, but.
Yeah, Jesse knows what he was doing when he put this to the last. He was like, you know what? I'm going to surprise them with the best one for the last.
Yeah. This one usually gets people. Like I said, is people don't usually pick this one unless they're really into tequilas. Then sometimes they're like, ooh, okay, that'd be interesting. But overall, people don't usually pick this one off the menu right off the bat. So we usually try and pour a little for people, and they'll be like, damn, this is the one I want. And I'm like, yes. Like I said, I was kind of told by a lot of my peers that tequila casks usually aren't worth dabbling in. And the funny thing is I've been doing this one for almost 5 years, and I see more and more of them pop up in the market. So obviously there's, we're on to something here.
But
they were telling you to wait because they couldn't figure it out yet.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't liked any of the ones that other people have released yet. This was my favorite tequila cask.
So that's an honor, especially from a tequila fan, right?
Yeah,
That's an odd
awesome.
thing
Yeah,
for
that
him.
was good.
It's not it's not super easy to make. A lot of these whiskeys aren't. They take a lot of time and attention and attention to detail. But that's the love it. That's the passion. So I'm just happy that we can bring really cool things to market and y'all can enjoy them. It's
Oh
really
yeah, we need to do a Tres Amigos barrel pick. That'll be
We
fun.
should. We should.
I have.
We only have 2 left.
Only have 2 left.
It's not true.
Easy salesman here.
Steve,
To be fair, I have no idea.
he's
What's that?
the sales guy.
I have no
Sales guy.
idea how many we have left.
No. We have such a funny relationship because we're all co-founders of this company. Our offices are all next to each other. We see each other every day. We know each other's personal lives probably more than we need to know. But the point is I think it's funny because I think Steve, you say this the best. Jesse always hide things from everybody else, and it's not because I'm intentionally hiding them. It's just because I don't tell everybody what I have laying around, and that's what makes it fun. It's like this rediscovery for all of us, myself included. Sometimes I put barrels up in the top racks, and I'm like, okay, they've got the heat on them. Occasionally the heater will kick on in the warehouse when it gets too cold, or and I don't get to them very often. And then we'll be like, ooh, I remember this is here, Steve. Let's go try it, and it'll just be like a Tuesday afternoon. We're like, let's go kick around and see what we have. And it's a fun rediscovery. It's like a kids in a candy shop.
It is really fun getting back there with Jesse, and he literally we'll have a group back there that I came in from out of state, and I'm showing them around, and just like, oh, do you want to try this? Oh, do you want to try that? And they look at me and they're like, what do you think? Do you like that one? I'm like, I didn't even know this was back here. Let's go try it. Let's see what it's all about. I think that's really fun about Jesse, and just letting him kind of cook in his kitchen and coming up with some just awesome stuff.
Yeah, he's the chef.
Yep, exactly. That chef's approach, putting that chef's kiss on it, and yeah, that story really came up, or not the story, but the argument there for me when we first started again 10 years ago. He was going around locally trying to sell a whiskey that, we were sourcing the whiskey. We were doing this blending and finishing. At that time in 2016, we had 350 craft distillers in Washington alone. And so people are trying to push grain to glass. We're doing this whole thing. The art is in the distillation. And I tell people, hey, straight up, we're sourcing these barrels. And they look at me and they're like, oh, so you're not local. You're not really doing that. It's not what I'm trying to push. I'm just trying to sell a great whiskey, a good whiskey that we source that we turn into a great whiskey. And I eventually came up with, when the bars and restaurants were pushing back on it, and be like, yeah, you're not really local, so I don't know. We're going to go with these guys. And I'll be like, well, A, I'm not selling you on a local product. I'm selling you on a good product. But B, I hear you. You have steak on the menu, right? And they'd be like, yeah. I'm like, great. Let's go check out your cattle farm. Like, well, we don't raise beef. Oh, okay. Well, you have a salad on the menu. Let's go check out your garden. Oh, we don't do that. Okay, well, you're doing the same thing we're doing. You're sourcing the ingredients to the best of your ability, the highest quality that you can. And then it's your recipe that separates you from everybody else out there that's sourcing those same ingredients. So that always rung true to me. And Jesse really, again, he's building his spice cabinet back there of what he can put into whiskey and what he can add to whiskey that thyme, char, and mash bill just can't.
Steve, I haven't heard such a good analogy in such a you hear these source whiskeys, NDPs, and all of that, but I feel like you put it together very nicely. And it's like such a good transition,
Yeah. We're having fun. We're trying to expand the American palate or the palate into what American whiskey can be. So
yeah,
and just doing a great job of it. If
Amazing. Yeah.
you don't mind me saying so.
Oh yeah.
I think that's exactly it. Well said.
And it's very similar to Whiskey Library. It's 3 of us that started it, and the second guy is right in the back there, and it's the 2 of us now here. Just like you guys.
Getting drunk.
Yep.
That's it, right? That's the story. It's good people coming together over good products and wanting to share it. That's who we all are. That's why we're here. Everybody in this stream, you know.
Oh yeah.
Which is really beautiful. You know, it's I like that part of it. And I get to learn just as much from you all as you guys talk. That's why I like showcasing the stuff in the back too. I'm like, oh, try all these things. Like I'll be pretty quiet through most of it. Because I'm curious what everybody else thinks. I don't need to sit here and tell you what everything tastes like. Because you have your own palates and your own capabilities. I'm happy to help guide and give you my opinions, but I'll be like, "Ooh, I didn't taste that, and I taste it now." Absolutely, we have these interesting connections, right? To memories and what we've tasted before, and whiskey does a really good job of exciting those memories. So,
yep, I think so too. When I first started, I was like, what are these tasting notes? Like, is this just people saying stuff that they don't actually mean? Like, oh, chocolate, caramel, vanilla. What is this? All of this.
Yeah.
I started to understand that you can get pepper, you can get bananas sometimes when in whiskey, and it reminds you of bananas. You know what I mean?
I love that. Steve and I
is a banana tree. It's never seen the fruit. It's been in a charred oak in the dark, and it's never seen nature. But it somehow sees bananas.
Nature does a really good job of recycling flavor compounds.
Oh yeah,
right. Like Quercus rubra, American oak, right, has or the American oak we commonly use in bourbon has lactone in it, right? Lactone is the same compound found in coconuts.
Wow.
Right? It has cinnamon in it, which is the same compound in cinnamon. It has vanillin, which is the same compound in vanilla. So it's just recycled compounds all over the world in anything that grows, and it's about learning and understanding how to extract them and complement them. And that's like a big part of the science. And partly why Steve was laughing so much when he said bananas, because the first time Steve and I met, two people put us together, said, we basically ended up probably drinking a little too much that evening.
Not the first time. Or not the last time.
Yeah, before we built the company, and I think Steve, you'll probably tell a better story of this, but in a nutshell, basically, I said, think bananas.
Well, we were talking about the power of
power of suggestion.
The power of suggestion, and it's like even if someone just says bananas, like, and you're tasting something, like the connection between your mind and your palate is there, and you taste it, and nobody's wrong. Like, you're not wrong with what you're going to put out there, what you're going to say, and what you think you're tasting. Like, you can't say bananas and somebody looking at you and be like, no, that's wrong. Like, that's not how that works. If you're thinking bananas, you're going to get bananas. And so we always would say that's bananas when you're like trying to suggest somebody pull some flavor profile out of it. But it's bananas, man. It's bananas.
It's just funny because and then yeast compounds, especially specific strains, produce banana.
Yep.
All of you are used to that one. If any of you have ever tried old.
Have you ever looked into the history of the banana? Sorry, we don't need to go down that road. Crazy.
Precisely, that's it. It's the Laffy Taffy profile.
Oh yes, Laffy Taffy.
It's the OG popular banana until it went extinct. But evolution, folks.
I learned so many things today.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface. We're really holding back, to be honest. So it gets.
When I come down there, I think right now I'm here with the whiskey education.
Yep.
I'll be here.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, really quick, I'm surprised nobody's asked about that bottle behind Jesse's head. I guess
I have. I didn't ask it, but I was thinking it. It looks very funky. It has an artwork.
That one, yeah. Is Mike still on here? Mike might appreciate this.
He might appreciate this. This is pretty wild. This was another side passion project. I put it under docs so people would actually know who made it. But humorous enough, I think the artist drew me on there. This is Lost Nectar. It's pretty wild. So when we make the Solera system, and I also put all the crazy weird blending information on the side. It's probably backwards for y'all, but
okay, Jesse, I know you made these labels, right?
What?
I know you made these labels. No offense, but that label is like so much better. It's like opens your mind. It's like the best thing I've seen.
That is such a cool.
Arnab,
Love that.
totally fair. So I've never said this publicly, but I did this as an experiment and for fun. And this is the rum that we use that seasons, meaning like we age this rum in our ex bourbon barrels because we blend the rum here. So it's already aging. We blend all those rums together, then put them in our ex bourbon barrels. And about a year and a half later, we pull them, and then those get cycled into our Solera system. We have a very traditional Solera system here. There's one of only 2 in the country that I know of that's traditionally made, meaning multiple cask. And people kept asking me, what the heck to do with the rum? And I say, well, I just put it in these huge cognac casks for when I need it for the barrels, right, to make our rye whiskey. And the very base that you tasted in Golden Hour and Tres Amigos. And I told everybody I'd release it, and I've only released 1,300 bottles of it before, and that's what this bottle comes from.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was in New Orleans, and I read this cool story.
Is it for sale?
I have like 3 bottles left or something like that. So if you come here, I'll maybe give you a bottle.
Because you only have 3.
It depends on how long it takes to.
Yeah,
some guy lives close to us. Who was that? Who was on that? Was that MT? Someone's close here.
It's a silly rum. Like I said, all the exact blend information is on here. So St. Croix, Trinidad, Venezuela, and Jamaican rums went into this. It's a whiskey drinker's rum. It's unlike probably any rum you've ever tried. It's just kind of its own thing because I built it to influence the rye whiskey. That was the point. And there's a muralist down in the South Pacific that I really liked his artwork that he would do on buildings. So I emailed him and I emailed him a story, and he drew the label, and then I colored it, and that's how we made Lost Nectar.
That is.
At that point, my experiment is like, okay, guys, we went from something that's very traditional whiskey, white label, to a little bit more fun, in my opinion. It's got actual art on it, a little more playful names, etc. This is what I've never said before. I keep toying around for the last 2 years of redesigning Doc Swinson's to look maybe a little more like this.
You should. Definitely.
I think that's a good call.
Definitely.
These fly off the shelf because they look freaking cool. That's the reality.
Again, something I didn't know.
Yeah. Like I said, even Steve didn't know that. Yeah, there you go. I just haven't done it yet. You know, it's a pretty big departure from the brand that we know, and a lot of people have always seemed to like the labels we produce, which I'm proud of. I'm not really a graphic designer. I just kind of made it up. But
Jesse designed our first label on a Photoshop because we didn't know how to use AI.
Point being is, I'm glad that you guys think this is pretty cool, and it helps reinforce. Maybe I should revisit that idea for rebranding.
Jesse, if I was at a liquor store and I was looking at the shelf, I think I would pick that one.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah,
I would too.
So I did develop one that has like each one's going to be a different story, so like different imagery.
Yeah, I think that's a cool concept.
They're fun. I'll make this again. I'll make it again.
Please
But
do.
you guys got to come out here, and I'll
Oh yeah,
this
if
very
we come out here, how about this? We come out there, you make one specifically for Whiskey Library.
okay. Deal. All right. So we got to take a screenshot of this right here, and we got to make a fun, epic story around you two with all these bottles.
Hold on, Arnav, write that in the chat so we can take a screenshot of your commitment here.
Oh yeah. If I come down to WA, you guys do a custom Jesse art mural bottle
For us. Yeah.
for us. Yes, that's important.
Imagine if Jesse just fixed it.
All right, everyone smile. Oh, wait. Oh, God. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yahtzee. Got it.
Perfect.
I look like an idiot, but that'll work. It's perfect.
Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you both. This is amazing. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate the support, and I'm glad you really got to try some cool whiskeys. Thanks for getting out to everybody at the Whiskey Library. You guys are freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, thank you. You guys are the amazing ones here. I learned so many new things today. I didn't know banana had a chemical compound that I forgot. A cinnamon had a chemical compound that. Yeah.
They're all recycled depending on how you use them and how you subject them to different environments. They pop out.
Perfect.
We can keep going. It's only 10 to 6 out here, so we got like 3 more hours. If you guys are good.
Steve and I do. We hold. I feel like two like fun, silly records that I love to share. One of them is the most tastes at MGP's facility itself. We literally had an 8-foot round table entirely covered in Glencairns, and we had 3 hours to try every one and document them.
2 days before Christmas, and they hated us. No, actually, they thought it was hilarious.
No, they thought it was great. They thought it was hilarious. They're like, we've never made more samples in one sitting for people before. It literally was an 8-foot round diameter table, completely covered to the edge in Glencairn glasses.
This was 11 years ago, so they weren't quite as.
How the hell were you guys able to just taste everything?
Yeah, no, we had to reinvent. Yeah, we had to
read down to like 30 proof on all that. So
Jesse has a good personality. He probably cracked some jokes, and they were like, this guy's cool. We'll let him do that.
There were like 2 people left at the facility because it was 2 days before Christmas. It was like
it wasn't even like our main dude. It was some other guy who's great. Barry was his name. He's freaking
Barry. Yeah.
He's like, sure, I'll show you around. I happen to be around. It literally was him and like one other like lab person, and they're like, sure. Welcome.
We can't say no.
No, they're amazing. That's back to cool stories and connections, and we love working with them. They're wonderful. But anyways, yeah, and then the other one is I think the longest of all the tastings this particular group did. It was a big virtual whiskey group back in the day. I think we did 9 hours on it.
Wow.
But it started at like 7 p.m. and then went to whatever it was, 4:30. I don't know, the sun came up.
Dude, there's a picture of me sleeping on the couch behind Jesse while he continues to give this tasting.
It was insanity. So to Steve's point, we can hang. Probably not today.
Our third partner, the reason he's not with us here is because he has to drive us to New York. We're driving to New York from here now.
Yeah.
Oh, tonight?
Tonight.
So we're drinking but not driving.
Yep.
Good chauffeur. Well, I'm excited to meet your other partner as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes. You're like
all right. Well, you guys leaving tonight for New York? Have fun.
Yeah. Right after this call. This live stream.
Yep.
Well, we've done calls from a car too. Jesse did a single barrel pick with Fred Minnick's group with a 2-hour drive between somewhere in Florida and Tampa.
Really?
Yeah, Steve drove at about 110 miles an hour. And
you were late. Relax. I had to get us there.
We had to turn off the video feed because people were getting sick.
Anyway,
right.
We're real people. That, I guess, is all we're saying.
Yeah, whoever said it, real people, just enjoying it. This is cool. So thank you for joining us in Doc Swinson's. And
of course. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
All right, guys.
And have a good night. Cheers.
all right. Drive safe. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you. See you.
Party on, Wayne.